Katy and I work for Waitrose as a wine buyer. Well, I guess it started at university. So I did languages at university. I did French, Italian and business studies as well, with a view eventually of getting a career in either food or wine. It wasn't until my year abroad, which is part of the languages degree, where I decided finally, yes, wine is the route that I want to go down. And then from then onwards, it was more about how do I get there? How do I get into buying wine? Because it occurred to me that the wine couldn't just appear on the supermarket shelves. Somebody surely somewhere must have to taste this wine. I found out that there were wine courses that I could do. So the Wine and Spirit Education Trust do various courses. So I made sure I got onto those. I eventually got a job in the Asda Spirit department as a sort of trainee buyer, as a buying assistant, where I learnt about port and sherry. I then moved into the wine team at Asda, and I was there for about 3 years. By the time I left there, I was looking after half of the range from a sort of wine quality perspective. And then I left there to come to Waitrose. When I moved into the wine team at Asda, I was straight away given Italy as a country to look after, which is a fairly important country in the sort of wine world. And I really don't think I would have been given such responsibility so early on in my career if I hadn't had the language skills to back it up. Part of what I would do as a wine buyer would be to blend the wines that appear on shelf. So that would mean having a few different Barolos in this case, and sort of making up a mixture or a recipe which is unique to the wines at Waitrose that would then appear on the shelves. And I guess how languages would help with that is that quite often the winemakers in say Italy or France may not speak English, so you would always get the sales guys with the chat who would speak English to you, but the winemakers themselves may not. So what I would do is, for example, we have a Barolo B here, so I would taste the Barolo. So it's really quite floral, fruit driven, possibly not that much structure in that particular one. And then we try Barolo C. So that's a bit darker. And there's possibly a bit more structure in that one. So what I would do is make a blend here. So we would say do 50% of Barolo B, which is slightly fresher and more fruit driven, and mix that with say 50% of Barolo C, which has a bit more structure. So this is a process that I would go through with most of my wines. Sometimes it will happen here in the UK, and sometimes it will happen in country. So this should be the perfect blend, but essentially you would keep going until you got what you felt was the perfect balance to the wine. So actually, even though I just did that on the spot, that does taste really quite good. It's got a nice roundness, a nice structure, good fruit concentration. So what I may do now is give the producer a call and let him know exactly the blend that I want and the style that I want, and just kind of communicate that to him. Ciao Luca, ho assaggiato il Barolo e mi piacerebbe un blend con 50% B e 50% C. Va bene? Cool. Ok.
Ciao ciao!
So yeah, the Italians are often really surprised and really excited that you speak their language, and it does give you an instant connection with them. And they're like, you speak Italian, and let's taste some wine, let's do this, and it does give you that instant kind of friendship, really. And I would say there's probably not that many UK wine buyers who do speak foreign languages. So again, I think it does give me a bit of an edge versus my peers, really. I think if you've done some languages at A level, then I think it is pretty easy to pick up a different language at university. But I guess I would just strongly encourage people to study languages from as early an age as possible, really. I would say get out to that country as much as possible. So I think my year abroad, which is common within most university language courses, my year abroad was instrumental in bringing on my language skills. Just spending as much time as possible in Italy, in France, was really, really helpful, and just talking to people and getting yourself involved in the local culture and the local life, that just really helped. So that would be my top tip: get out there. But I would actually say the great thing about Italy, not to sound too Italian-centric, but everybody's just so happy that you're having a go and that you're having a try, and they're so surprised and grateful almost that you're even trying to speak their language. I think that that there could be a view that English people aren't bothered about learning foreign languages, and why should I bother learning a foreign language? But it does really give you a huge advantage, and yeah, especially in Italy, everybody is just so pleased that you're giving it a go, and so flattered that you're learning their language, and they're really encouraging. Yes, it is sort of everyone does speak English, but if you can speak another language, then the people who you meet in Italy and France, then they are all the more kind of impressed and surprised that you do speak their language, that you can communicate with them directly. So I would say it is a huge advantage on my part that I can speak those languages and that I can communicate directly with them. And I know that from a Waitrose perspective, it was one of the key points, one of the key reasons why I was employed. They didn't have a linguist in the team. They needed somebody to look after Italian wines, and that definitely gave me the edge over everybody else who was going for the job. So yeah, they saw it as a key skill that they wanted within the wine buying team, to have somebody who speaks languages. So yeah, it definitely gave me the edge.